Okay, folks, this is a brand new video, and in the past I've done videos about Martin Luther King and why he had to die for Elvis, okay? The ritual death of Martin Luther King. Whether he actually died or not, no one will ever know. But the ritual death of Martin Luther King was done for Elvis. Okay, like I said, folks, you're going to be blown away by the connections that I've discovered, so just keep watching all the way through. So, in 1968, it was a leap year, okay? And that's the year that Martin Luther King was assassinated. He was assassinated on the date 4/4/1968, okay? And from Elvis's birthday that same year, okay, just, because Elvis was born in 1935, but that year, on January 8th to 4/4, which is the day he was assassinated, it was 88 days because it was a leap year. And I told you Elvis turned 88. Turns 88 next year, okay? But on a regular year, it would be 87 days in between January 8th and April 4th. So 87, 88, and Elvis turned 87 this year, 2022, okay? So that's why it connects to 2022, 2023. Because April 4th on a leap year lands where April 5th usually would be. Okay, so it's 4/4/4/5. Get it? Trump is the 44th president, 44th person to become president. He's the 45th actual president. Okay? Trump and Elvis has been dead for 44, 45 years between 2022 and 2023. If you've been watching my videos, you know what I'm talking about. And what's important is Martin Luther King, his name is King, okay? That's why it's so important. And he was such an important figure, at the time, right? And he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. And Elvis the King, as they call him, dies. He also was living in Memphis, Tennessee, and he died in Memphis, Tennessee, supposedly. Okay, but he was living there at the time of Martin Luther King's death. So the king had the king whacked, if you understand. Like I said, it's just a ritual. Whether he actually died or not, nobody knows. And I told you that on June 11th, there's going to be a spectacular event in Seattle, okay? And somehow Elvis connects to this spectacular event. So Elvis was known as the King. Martin Luther King, okay? That's why he died in Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived at the time. And Seattle, which is where the spectacular event is going to happen next year on June 11th, is in King County, okay? By the way, if you're hearing dogs, that's the neighbor across the way. I don't have any dogs. Not that I have a problem with dogs, they're just not my dogs. Anyway, so Seattle's in King County, right? Do you know that King County was renamed on April 19th, 2005? And you know who it was named after? It was named after Martin Luther King. It was named after a different king before. Okay? They renamed it after Martin Luther King, Seattle's King County. And here's the logo right here of that. And the fact that Seattle got renamed is a big deal, okay? Because I told you Martin Luther King was assassinated where Elvis lived. All right? And then Elvis also supposedly died there too. So my point is, it's got the King reference, and now Seattle's King County is named after MLK. It's setting up for another, death ritual. That's my point. And look down here, okay? Remember I told you King County was renamed after MLK. The date was 4/19/2005 when it was renamed, okay? After Martin Luther King. And from Elvis's death date, August 16, 1977, to the day that it got renamed, it was 27 years, 8 months, 4 days, which is not that big of a deal, but the 8 months, 4 days is a big deal. There's 8 months and 4 days in between August 16th and 4/19. It's actually 8 months and 3 days or 8 months and 4 days, depending on which year, that you're adding it up to. And also you have the 119. Look at that. 911 backwards with 2 crowns. The O's are always a crown. Or it can be just a 0, but you know. So pay attention closely. Remember, I just showed you from August 16th, which is Elvis's death date, to the renaming of King County after MLK, which was this date, 419. It's 247 days, and the percentage of 247 days is 67.67%. Okay? And that's the same amount from Elvis's birthday to 9/11. Okay? So another connection to destruction, because 9/11 you had the Twin Towers, right? And by the way, you see these numbers? It looks like Trump's date of birth, 6/14. If the 9 was upside down, it'd be 6/14. But forget about that. What's important is the 67.67 with these two equations, marking from Elvis's death to the renaming of the MLK, naming it after Martin Luther King, the Seattle King County, and from Elvis's birthday to 9/11, same amount, you see? There's a connection. And the 67.67 has to do with this. I told you the identical twins, Jesse, that's how it was spelled on his gravestone, because his identical twin died. Elvis's identical twin was Jesse. Jesse equals 67, Elvis equals 67. 67, 67, get it? So when you see this equation, it means something. That's why the Twin Towers came down from Elvis's birthday to 9/11. It was 67.67. Elvis, Jesse, Elvis. That's their names. 67, 67. And it just so happens from MLK's death date on 4/4/1968 to the day it was renamed on April 19, 2005, King County in Seattle was renamed after MLK. It's 37 years and 16 days, or you can say it's 444 months and 16 days, okay? Because the EL, look at the perfect number. For 37 years, it would be 444 months exactly, okay? And I told you the letters the numbers 37 looks like the letters EL if you turned it upside down. EL means God in Hebrew. And you know the 16 is super important, okay? Elvis is born in the 1st month. Trump's born in the 6th month. It all has to do with the Gemini and the Janus. And Elvis died on the 16th day. Lincoln was the 16th president. Okay, I've explained it all before. And speaking of the 37, also the number 73 looks like it, right? 73 or 37 would look like the letters EL if you turned it upside down. Look, 68, it happened, right? And you add 5, because it happened in 2005, 68 plus 5 equals 73. So you have the 73 and the 37 right there. And 7337 equals the word perfect, which is the EL. 73 is the EL, 37 is an EL. EL means God. And you know, Trump, right now he's 76 years old. You know, not that it matters, but MLK, from MLK's birth date to the day he got renamed, King County in Seattle was renamed after MLK, is 76 years. This is no big deal, this equation. So let me tell you something. There's a lot of things going on around my apartment. There's like construction and stuff, and then the dog's barking. I don't know what the heck, man. All this noise. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. But anyway, Washington State, it was founded, okay, the date, it was 11/11/1889. So from 11/11/1889, the day Washington State was founded, where Seattle is, right? Seattle's in Washington State, to the day it got renamed, King County in Seattle got renamed after MLK, it's 42,162 days. And it's 115 years, this equation, plus whatever amount of months. I didn't put that in, but it doesn't matter. 115 years. Look, MLK's born in 115. But this is what's important, the 42162 number. Pay attention. So from Washington's founding date, right, to the day it got renamed, King County in Seattle got renamed after MLK. I told you it was 42162. The Seattle Space Needle opening date is 4 2162. Do you see it? It opened 4/21/62, which is the Queen's birthday, 4/21. But look at the date numbers, 4/21/62. That's exactly from Washington State. Oops. Sorry about that. It's exactly from Washington's founding date to the day MLK, it was renamed King County after MLK. And then, Elvis died at the age of 42. Washington State's the 42nd state, so you have the 4-2 right there. And then June 11th is the 162nd day of the year when the spectacular event in Seattle happens on June 11th, 162, you see? 162. Same thing with the Space Needle opening date. You have the 4-2 connecting Elvis' age in Washington's state being number 42. And then the 162 connecting to June 11th, 162. And it just so happens from the Space Needle opening date to the day that MLK, that King County was renamed after MLK. You see that? April 19th, 2005, it was renamed King County in Seattle. From the Space Needle opening date, 4/21/1962, to that day, it's 42 years. There's your 42 again. Again, I ask you guys, think about these coincidences that I'm showing you, okay? Are there such things as coincidence in this world? Yes. But how many can there be before you understand that there's a pattern? Look, and if you add the dates for, you see the numbers? Look at that, 840, 840. And I told you Trump gets his head wound on August 4th in Ohio. 8-4 with a crown, okay? And look, 62 was the year, and then the year he got the renamed, it was 05. He adds up to 67. 67, when written out in gematria, is the first number that equals 162. And I told you June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. Elvis and Jesse both equal 67. 67, 67, they equaled. And from MLK's birth date to the day the Space Needle opened, look at the amount of days. 12,150, or 33 years, 3 months, 7 days. So you have the 33 connection, because the 33 is the number of ascension. 37, because Jesus rose from the dead at 33 after he was crucified at the age of 33. All right, and 37 is the EL number, and you see the letter O right here. Notice at the top, the letter O equals 15 on the top, 12 backwards. So 1215. Is 1215 with a crown. The O is a crown, I told you. So you have the 1215 with a crown. It's the backwards crown number. And from Elvis's birth date, because this was from MLK to the Space Needle opening, from Elvis's birthday to the day MLK was assassinated was 1214 with a crown. And 1214 is George Washington's birthday. George Washington's death date. Okay, and Seattle's in Washington, you understand? It's all about death and destruction. So 1214 is Washington's death date with a crown. It's 33 years in between. Again, and like I told you, an important number. And speaking about the needle, I told you Elvis was the first famous person to take a vaccine on television. He took the polio vaccine on October 28, 1956. From that day to the day MLK was renamed, the King County was named after MLK, it's 17,706. Look at that, the 1776 to the America's founding year. And Bill Gates is born in Seattle, and he's born on 10/28. You see, that's the day Elvis took the needle, on Bill Gates' first birthday. And look, 56 plus 5 is 61. And it's been 61 years. Next year is going to be 61 years that the Space Needle is going to... That's how old the Space Needle is. That's what I'm trying to say. Next year. On its birthday, it'll be 61 years old next year. And I told you that Elvis was the first famous person to have anything to do with the Seattle Space Needle. When he made a movie, it happened at the World's Fair when the Space Needle first opened. Okay? And look, it says Elvis swinging higher than the Space Needle. All right? Everything is about the needle with Elvis. And that's why Trump, his devil twin, was the father of the injection when he brought it out. Okay? You know, the miracle cure that just came out a couple of years ago, whatever. This is not such a big deal, but I thought I'd show it anyway. So the King County renaming date was 4/19/2005, right? When King County in Seattle was renamed after MLK, Martin Luther King. And from that day to the day till the day the spectacular event in Seattle is going to happen next year, it's 18 years. And you know, Elvis, he was born on 1/8, and the 18th prime number is 61. Next year, the Space Needle turns 61, and the percentage is, look at the percentage, it's 18, and then you got a 15. I told you the 15 is a crown. So you have the 18 with a crown. And I already showed this equation, but I have the card written, so I might as well show it. From Elvis's birthday to MLK's death date is 12/14 with a crown. You see, 33 years. And I don't know, I must have wrote the wrong thing because I could have sworn it was 3 months. Yeah, it should be 3 months and 27 days. What the hell did I do here? Sorry. Oh, no, this is correct. I think I did the wrong. Oh, no, I was thinking of a different equation. Sorry, it's correct. 33 years, 2 months, 27 days. Sorry. Anyways, 12/14. Washington died on 12/14. And check this out. From George Washington's actual death date on 12/14/1799 to the day MLK was assassinated. Look at that. Look at this number right here. First of all, Elvis died on 8/16, so there's the same numbers. Then you got 3/22. I told you Elvis is the head of the skull and bones. 3/22, right there with the 3 months, 22 days. Look at this, 6/14/73. And I told you the 7/3 or the 3/7 is the EL, so this would be EL. And what's this right here? The 6/14. That's Trump's birthday, 6/14. So you have the 6/14 with that EL number that I just showed. Okay, so I guess that's just a coincidence, that it had the EL and the 73. I mean, the EL and the 6/14 in that last equation I showed. Anyway, so from MLK's birthday to Trump's birthday, it's 17 years, 5 months. And then from Trump's birthday to the day JFK was assassinated, 17 years, 5 months. Another, strange coincidences. And check this out. I told you next year is the year, right, that everything happens. Elvis turns 88. And then on January 8th, Elvis turns 88. Then June 11th is a spectacular event. And August 4th is the Trump head wound. And if you add MLK's date of birth and Elvis's date of birth, you see it's 223. The 322 backwards, which is the skull and bones number, but it's the 223. 2023 is next year. Now pay close attention, okay? So Martin Luther King was assassinated on 4/4. The video is going to start getting good, so pay attention. He was assassinated on 4/4. The prime numbers, the fourth prime number equals 7. So if you take the 7 and add the 4, okay, it equals 11. Again, you take because there's 2 4s right here, right, in his assassination date. You take the 4, which the fourth prime number, which equals 7, add it again, you get 1111. Washington was founded on 1111. You see? You see what I'm trying to show you here? And notice the 7 and the 4 right here, 4774. Why is this important? Because you see down here, the name Jesus, when put into the gematria calculator, it equals 74 on the top and 11 as the reduced number. This is the most, like I said, it's the name above all names. So that's why it's so important. And look at this. From Washington State being founded on 11/11/1889 to the day JFK was assassinated, look at that. 74 years, 11 days, not counting that day, but up to that day. It's 74 years, 11 days, and JFK was assassinated. And you know how important JFK is, okay, to this puzzle. Okay, and look, it's equivalent to 888 months and 11 days. You see? So right here, this particular thing that I'm going to show you, the next few things, is going to prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that they're using numbers in their rituals, okay? Martin Luther King was assassinated on 4/4/1968, okay? 404 was the date. So pay attention. And the year that he was assassinated was 1968. So if you took the prime numbers of 19, which is equals 67, which I told you equals Jesse and Elvis, you remember? But the 19th prime number is 67, the 68th prime number is 337, adds up to 404. MLK's death date is 404. And 1968 was the year he was assassinated. The total is 404. Do you see it? And it just so happens Martin Luther King was born in a neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia. The area code for that neighborhood is 404. Do you see how impossible these coincidences are? So here's his home, his birthplace home. And notice the address, 501 Auburn. 501 reminds me of the jeans, Levi's. And I told you Elvis is an anagram for Levi's. 501 jeans, get it? And if you don't believe it's a 404 area code, pay attention. Birth home of Martin Luther King. There's that address, 501. And look at that, 33 and interesting numbers there with the but here, right here, you see 404 is the area code. And look, the 331, I told you Trump's birthday is the 165th day of the year, and on leap year it's 166. If you add those 165 and 166 up, it's 331. And the 67th prime number is 331. I told you it all adds up, folks. These rituals are perfectly done. So remember, I told you that Martin Luther King was assassinated on April 4th, which is the 4/4. And you know the word kill equals 44 and anti equals 44. But anyway, forget about that. Memphis, Tennessee, I told you, is where Elvis the King lived, and the king had the king ritually taken out. You understand? And even Memphis, Tennessee equals MT equals 33, the initials MT, because his tomb is empty. Get it? And and Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and that's the TM, Tupelo, Mississippi. He went from a 33 where he was born to a 33 MT, from TM to MT. Anyway, folks, you know why I'm kind of not doing these videos very good? Because I'm not feeling well, but I have to get these videos out. So be patient, and I apologize for not being so enthusiastic and making it better. But anyway, the point is that Elvis lived here and died in Memphis, Tennessee when Martin Luther King, Elvis the King, you get it? So the place where MLK was killed was called the Lorraine Hotel or Motel. I think it was motel originally. Okay? And let's see the address of the Lorraine Motel Hotel. So the address for that Lorraine Motel, look at this. 450 Mulberry Street. Look at this. It's got hold on. These construction workers are making so much noise, it's distracting me, folks. It's at 450. Trump is the 45th president. Elvis has been dead for 45 years, okay? And that's when my predictions are going to happen, while Elvis has still been dead for 45 years. And Trump is the 45th president, and you got a crown. 45 with a crown. Do you see it? Think about all these coincidences I'm showing you. He dies on 4/4. Trump is the 44th person to become president, but he's the 45th actual president. Elvis was 44 years dead this year. And then he became 45 years dead this year on August 16th. So it's a 44-45. And next year, it's still going to be 45 years when my two predictions happen of June 11th and August 4th. All right? These are not coincidences. And look, the Lorraine Motel, the room number where he was staying was 306. 306 was the room number he was staying at. And you know that if you add the numbers of all the numbers between 1 and 36, it's 666. Plus, you could just say 3 sixes is 666. You get what I'm saying? Or 3 times 6 is 18. Elvis is born on 1/8. 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's the room number, 306. And what is Elvis Presley's birthplace? The address? 306. Okay, you see, it's just all coincidences, everything, folks. You understand? And check this out. The nearest highway to Elvis Presley's birthplace is the 45th highway. I mean, can you believe this? Look at this. 45. And look how close it is, you see? So before I show you the more information, just remember what I just want to recap this part. So remember, Martin Luther King, his assassination date is 4/4/1968. 404. And I told you that 1968 is the year. If you add the 19th prime number, which equals 67, and add the 68th prime number, which equals 337, equals 404. Okay, and that's MLK's death date, 404, which connects to his 1968. 19th prime number, 68th prime number. And I told you that Martin Luther King was born in a neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia. The area code for that neighborhood is 404. And interestingly enough, from JFK's death date to Martin Luther King's death date is 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days. Look at that. And you know, Abe Lincoln was shot on 4/14, but he died on 4/15. But anyway, it's 4 years, 4 months. That's what I was showing you. From JFK's death to MLK death. And here's another reason why 404 is so important. Remember I told you Jesus equaled 74 and 11, which I told you is super important. This is the forward numbers. This is the backwards. 7411 is his numbers for Jesus. Prime numbers. The 74th prime number is 373. The 11th prime number is 31 equals 404. Do you understand what I'm showing you? They're killing Jesus when they took out MLK. That's the representation of it. That's what they're trying to say. All right? Because Martin Luther King had the name King. That's what the point was. It's not about Jesus being black or white. It's the point is that it's a representation of it. Just like when they shot JFK. Remember when I showed you this? Because this is a white person, right? The JFK. Washington State founding date was 11/11/1889. To JFK's death date is 74 years, 11 days. Do you understand? That's why it's not about black and white. The point is Jesus that represents, okay, because JFK was such a loved person at the time by the people. And that's why when I showed you that Martin Luther King's assassination date, which is 404, and Washington's founding date was 11/11, you see it's 7. The fourth prime number equals 7, and if you add the 4 to it, it's 11. 7, 4 is 11. 7, 4 is 11. 4, fourth prime number, 7, 7. And you know Elvis died in 77. Okay? And that's why I'm trying to tell you that's why this is so important, the 404 here. Because it connects to Jesus. And like I said, look how important this number is. You see here, right here? It's the 37, which is the EL. I told you if you turned it upside down, it'd be the EL, which means God in Hebrew. And look at the numbers that are left. 331. And look, the 67th prime number equals 331. And I told you Trump's born on 6/14, the 165th day of the year. And on leap year, it's 166. You add it up, it's 331. You see what I'm saying? In the prime numbers of Jesus, 74 and 11 equaled the 37 with the 331. and then the MLK death date. You see how incredible this puzzle is? You know what, folks? I told you this was just a bad day for me. You know, I have about 15 to 20 more index cards, and I'm running out of space on my phone to show it to you. So I only have a certain amount of time on recording space. So basically, I'm going to leave out a bunch of stuff. I'm only going to show you 2 more things. So from Martin Luther King's assassination day, 4/4, to Washington's death date of 12/14, just within the same year, it's either 254 days or 255 days. And 9/11 is the 254th or the 255th day, you see? Connecting to death and destruction, because MLK was killed on 4/4, George Washington died on 12/14. You see what I'm saying? So pay attention to the last thing I'm going to show you. So you know that Elvis has been dead for 44, starting in 2022, was 44 years. But on August 16th of this year, it turned 45 years. And all the way until next year, August 16th, it's still going to be 45 years. And then on that day, it turns 46. So my 2 predictions happen while he's still 45 years dead, okay? But he turned 45 in 2022, the amount of death, okay, years. And so 2022, he turned 87, Elvis. 2023, he was 88. If you add that up, look, it's 4045, and MLK's death date was on a leap year, so technically the 404 landed on the 05 day. You understand? On leap year, the 404 is actually landing on the regular year of 405. So that's why it's so incredible. You see this puzzle? I hope you understood what I just showed. And that's why from Elvis's birthday to 4/4 on a leap year is 88 days if you add the day. If you don't add the day, it's 87. Okay? On a leap year, it's 88. That's why and then from 1/8 to 4/5 on a regular year, not a leap year, it's actually 88 days to 4/5. So because it's a leap year, the 88th day lands on 4/4. Without the leap year, it lands on 4/5. 44/45 from Elvis's birthday. Do you get it? It's a perfect puzzle. 87, 88. And Elvis turns 87, 88 next year. Look, 4045. It's so perfect. You see what I'm trying to show you? Okay, it's all about him turning 87, 88 in 2022 and 2023. And just real quick, you see right here, it says Martin Luther King. That was the date that it was renamed. I just wanted to clarify for you and prove it. 4/19/2005. So don't get my 2 predictions mixed up. Trump head wound August 4th in Ohio. Seattle gets spectacular event June 11th. End of video.